Welcome, everybody, to the oddest little podcast on the internet, The Odd Pod. What's going on, everybody? I'm Stacy Kruger. Who are you guys?
I am too casual, too furious.
I am the one and only Radical Hazard.
Right now, casual.
I'm Robbie.
Guess who's back?
Back again. Look who's back. Not fucking
back.
gone for once. Holy shit, guys, he actually found out where the podcast was and how to be on it for once. Undead, What the hell's been up with you, man? Where you been?
We thought you got eaten by a bear.
Well, I moved, and then I get into a place, loaned my computer to a friend of mine for school, and I'm back. I have it back, and I'm in a place with decent net connection.
Oh, I see how it is. You're trying to get the sympathy vote.
Yeah.
Not really.
Trying to get his sympathy vote, like, oh, feel bad for me. No, there's no excuse for you. But seriously, Undead, it's great to have you back. We missed you, man. We friggin' missed you. Mainly, we missed you because we had some, you know, somebody to keep us on track during the show. But either way, we still missed you.
Americans in one street in one podcast.
You know, I think we need to de-Canuck our podcast already.
What are you talking about?
What are you talking about, Derry?
I don't know what you're talking about. Come on now.
Undead, I'm glad you're back. I didn't like being the youngest.
Oh,
Fuck
the
you,
baby of the podcast is back, Derry. What the hell accent was that? Apparently, I started off as
Sure.
trying to
That
go
was like-
Canuck, and then it turned, South
Indian?
Asian somehow. I don't know. It would just
Canadian Indian.
It's confusing already.
I believe that's called shitty accent.
Shit. I'm with casual on this one. But guys, I've missed you. It's so good to finally do a podcast again. Last week was just like a shit show where we couldn't get everything going. It seemed like all the stars were aligning to screw us out of doing a podcast. But
I don't know what you're talking about. We had a podcast.
Yeah, apparently you guys did a podcast without me. Wonderful. All right.
No one will ever see it.
But see, I miss you guys. It's so good to have you guys back. It's so good to talk to you guys again. And I know there's a friggin' topic that's been burning a hole into your pocket or your ass or your lungs or your head. Give me some figure of speech. It's burning a hole into that with casual and its trailers.
Well, I mean, come on. The trailers are awesome. They get us to see movies.
True, but some are shitty, some are good, some are
not all of them are awesome.
Some are better than the fucking movie. Oh, Suicide Squad.
Some have lots of things that don't even make it into the movie. Rogue One, we're looking at you. But
Deadpool, we're also looking at you.
Here's the thing about trailers. They can be cool and they can get us to see the movies. And the one that I think should be on everybody's mind, mostly because the previous two movies in this franchise that I'm about to discuss, people didn't really care about the first one. Most people didn't even see the second one because it was, some would say bad, I would say just kind of meh. Thor Ragnarok.
Now, I had no idea there was a second one. That tells you how little humdrum there was about it. You know what I mean?
But have you seen the Thor Ragnarok trailer?
Oh, dude, my panties are wet.
People that don't care about movies want to see Thor Ragnarok now.
Right? Enough said. Me. How many times have you heard me say I just don't like movies? I'm going, oh my God, when is this coming out? I have to go see this shit.
Right? How did they... Okay, now, we all hope the movie's as good as the trailer, but how did they do that with Thor?
Now we're asking you, please do not pull a Suicide Squad. Do not make the entire fucking movie shittier than the trailer was. Please, we're begging of you, man.
Honestly, I think what it was is they're starting to put little bits of elements of Guardians in there, with Thor being more of a... Well, in the MCU, the Asgardians are technically aliens.
Yeah.
So Thor can explore that kind of part of the MCU. So
right,
with
because
them,
he's from space and
Yeah.
all that.
so with them adding parts of one of the most popular MCU movies, I think that's hyped it up a hell of a lot more than it did
Well, like,
for the previous two movies.
I can agree with that, but like, okay, so there's a couple of things about this trailer, and for those that haven't seen the trailer, I'm sure somebody will put a link to that video in our YouTube podcast or whatever. But the trailer has certain beats to it that
Yes.
just drive you forward, and one of the biggest beats. I mean, the trailer starts out a little bit common, but let's assume that people that are watching this trailer know just a little bit about Thor. Whether it's the comic book Thor or the mythological Thor, the first thing that happens is a character breaks Thor's hammer.
Now, as soon as I saw that, I was like, what? How? I have to see this.
As soon as I saw that, I thought, okay, she stopped the hammer. That's pretty cool. Then I saw it starting to crack, and I was like, no, they. And then in the trailer, they break it. Now that tells me two things. One, that's not even an important part in this movie. Like, it's going to drive the plot, but it's so. This is just going to happen. And they showed it in the trailer. Holy shit. And then, of course, the big reveal. And this is really getting into comic book nerddom, but even the people that didn't care about the comics, like my mom, saw the trailer and went, ooh, that looks cool. The Incredible Hulk comes out. And Thor's line. Yes!
I remember seeing that and I started cackling, losing my mind cackling.
Like, it's literally, he's saying exactly what the audience is saying in that moment of the trailer, probably in the movie. I mean, how awesome is that to be that meta?
Right, dude.
I know him from work.
And then the third thing that struck me as an interesting choice, and I don't know how many people caught this, but the title, Thor Ragnarok, when it came on screen.
Yeah.
It was the 80s.
Yes.
Now,
it's very 80s, and they're using a lot more designs by Jack Kirby as well in there.
What do you mean by that exactly?
Okay, so if you are well-versed, if you're as old as I am, and you're well-versed in the 80s, and especially some of that retro 80s culture, like, for instance, there's a movie you can find pretty much anywhere for free called Kung Fury.
And
it's
I love that film.
Okay,
And
there you
before
go.
we go back in my time,
So the
What,
title,
10 years ago? Jesus Christ, what the hell are you talking about back in my time?
So the title for Thor Ragnarok is a throwback to the 80s movies. Like, just the way it's done, the way they say coming soon, everything is a throwback to the 80s. And the Jack Kirby thing, I agree. They are going for slightly more colorful. They're going for designs from the comics of that era, which were before the 80s. But it makes me wonder what's... Like, it feels like what everybody keeps talking about, they're freshening up the comic book movies.
Mm-hmm.
And they're doing it in unique ways, and I didn't expect, like, what is the movie's gonna feel like it's in the 80s? What's going on? I have to see it!
One thing that pissed me off about the movie... Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Sorry, it's just this thing. It's going to be more comedic as well, because since that little short of what Thor did during Civil War, I think they're much more confident in his ability to be funny.
Very true. One thing that pissed me off about the trailer, though, and this is going to be just you guys going, Jesus Christ, Stacy, really? The music. I can't stand when a fucking movie like puts that music in, like, oh, here's a song you guys will love, so you can jam the whole time while enjoying our Fuck off!
Okay. No. I do actually have a counter to that. That music, not only was it perfect because it was Led Zeppelin and it's rockin', That was the immigrant song.
True, but
that is about the North.
I'm obsessed with Zeppelin. Me going, I fucking love. I've taken so much influence in them musically and everything. It's just, me going, did you really have to do this? Damn it, why?
Yes.
Why?
Yes,
it's like fucking. It's like
did.
AC/DC and goddamn Iron Man. Me just slamming my face in the wall, going, "Oh God, here we go again." You know,
Stacey,
but it fits.
It does. Music is one of the it's incredibly important when it comes to movies. Like Guardians of the Galaxy, one of my favorite MCU movies. The music made that movie.
I've never seen it, so I can't comment.
Oh, the music is so good. And here's the thing. When they did going back to Suicide Squad, the trailer for Suicide Squad, when they did the Bohemian Rhapsody Suicide Squad trailer, the music only kind of fit. It was great. It was well edited to that song. But the music itself only fit a little bit. But when you look at what Marvel has been doing, they're actually getting somebody with music theory degrees, and they are picking the right songs, not just because they sound good, but because it literally fits the scenes, it fits the mood, it fits the tone. Like, you haven't seen Guardians of the Galaxy, but there's a point in Guardians of the Galaxy where they play a song that everybody knows as the Pina Colada song.
Do you like Pina Coladas and Dancing in the Rain?
Right.
Okay, yeah.
And they play it during a scene where they are escaping from a space prison. Do you know what the name of that song is?
No idea.
Escape.
Oh, for Christ's sake.
That's how perfect they're doing the music. They're not just choosing it at random like most people do. And Immigrant Song for Thor, come on.
Well, I get it. Okay, Hammers of the God will drive our ships to new lands to fight hordes and sing and cry, Valhalla, I'm coming. I get it. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying I don't get the connection, okay? I totally understand it. I just can't stand when movies do that in general. That's one of my things where I'm just like, damn it, again. It's just always been one of those things for me where I'm just like, Well, overwhelming meh every time I see that in a trailer.
I will say this much. If they don't have it in the movie, which honestly they probably won't, I will be a little bit disappointed.
I would be very happy, but once again, that's just me. Yeah, I mean, exactly. See, it's overwhelming meh. Like, all of us can kind of have that same feeling to it, of just meh. It's and also my other. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was just gonna say, to the credit though, it does drive that trailer and make you go, yeah.
Yes, I will 1,000,000% agree with that. It did fit the trailer. Absolutely. It's just, it always bothers me when they do that because it always feels like they're relying on music. At least that's what did, especially the one that really put the bad taste in my mouth was Iron Man and AC/DC. It felt like they're relying on the music to fucking drive that whole thing. Yeah, I mean, it felt like they were relying on the music to sell it.
I don't really like AC/DC. There, I said it. Come at me.
I've seen them once live back when they're my second concert I've ever seen in my entire life, and I will never go see them again.
But that being said, they use the music well. Now, when you get something like Suicide Squad, where they don't.
True. Very true. You guys are going to call me petty as shit. Are you ready? They cut Thor's hair. Are you fucking kidding me? He was so sexy. Why did they have to do that?
I was gonna say I like the whole Braveheart thing they've got going.
Don't like this. Be against this. He looks so fucking hot with his long hair, man.
He should get it back in the next movie.
I hope. If they don't, I swear to God, I'll kill something.
I think the short hair is part of a sign that he is a slave in this movie. He's being forced to.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
Don't get me wrong. I get that, but I was just like, no.
But JC's fat material.
Exactly.
Did you notice something else that they finally included in Thor's mythology in this movie?
No, what?
His helmet has the wings.
Does it now? I didn't notice that.
It's in the scene right before Hulk comes out. They've done a unique movie take on it, but he puts a helmet on like a gladiator, and he like pulls down a non-visor thing. I don't know how to describe it.
Oh, you're right, son of a bitch.
Pop up.
So kind of like Catwoman in The Dark Knight when she puts her visor up, the cat ears are there, kind of thing.
Yeah, which by the way, I actually kind of liked.
I like the costume choice,
but yeah, I never like when I saw the first Thor movie, I was like, okay, this is pretty good. When I saw the second Thor movie, I thought, there were some okay scenes, but I am more excited to see Thor 3 than I am Spider-Man Homecoming because of this trailer.
I'm more excited to see anything than Spider-Man Homecoming. I watched I haven't had a time to watch the other two Spider-Mans, the quote-unquote new ones, whatever. The
amazing
ones. I haven't got a chance to watch them because, one, I don't have money to buy it. And two, I don't want to find money to buy it. Because the first three were so fucking awful. You know? Well, okay, let me rephrase that. We've all gotten this. We've had this discussion already. But the first one was fucking amazing. The other two just made me want to wipe my ass with the entire movie franchise. You know, I'd much rather go watch Mortal Kombat again. Okay? I'd much rather watch the whole...
Were they amazing, or were they spectacular? Or were they a web of intrigue? Sorry.
I felt nauseated. I felt my belly rumble, and I fucking thought it was a fart, but I shit my pants. How about that, all right? God damn it. I'd much rather go watch the Mortal Kombats again, all right, dude, than watch Spider-Man. That tells you how little I like that type of shit. And we all...
Now...
Ooh, we remember those, don't we? Who here remembers them?
Before we get lost on yet another rant... Let's talk about another trailer and another potentially connected universe.
Yes.
I don't know if anybody's seen the latest Mummy trailer, the one with Tom Cruise.
I have.
I haven't seen the most recent one.
They're making another Mummy?
Okay, so here's the deal. Let me give a little bit of background. Basically, because connected universes in movies are the big popular thing, Universal, which still to this day, 70 some odd years later, owns the rights to what are known as the Universal monsters. Okay. And they're literally all the classics, like Frankenstein's monster, the Wolfman, the Mummy.
And by the way, thank you for saying Dracula. Frankenstein's monster, not Frankenstein.
Yeah, it's actually a pet peeve of mine.
Creature from the Black Lagoon.
Yeah, I think the creature from the Black Lagoon is in there. So here's what they decided to do. Since they own the rights to all these monsters, they're going to start a connected Universal Monsters universe.
Oh? Yeah.
Now, at first I was like, what? Why? How? I don't care. Do I care? Here's what I got out of the new trailer for The Mummy. Tom Cruise is going to be fighting the Mummy. It's going to be a girl mummy this time, which is kind of progressive. I'm fine with that. But the new trailer reveals something that gives me dread.
Okay.
Tom Cruise is being brought back from the dead by the Mummy that he's going to kill. So he's gonna be a mummy who destroys the big bad, and all I could think as I saw this was League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. No.
So is it like a good mummy versus evil mummy kind of thing?
That's what it seems like. And all I could think is, okay, so Tom Cruise is gonna start forming a team, and it's just gonna be League of Extraordinary Gentlemen with monsters.
I mean, I'd love a well-made League of Extraordinary Gentlemen movie.
But will it be? I mean, I'll give credit to Tom Cruise being a part of it, but he has done bad movies, and this might be one of them. I just don't know about it.
I'm just like, you say mummy instantly, I'm like, I'm sorry, I vomited a little in my mouth. And then as soon as you say Tom Cruise, that's when it just fully comes flying out, hits the wall, and I turn into the fucking Exorcist where my head starts spinning, you know? I can't think of a single thing Tom Cruise has touched where I was like, God, that wasn't vomit worthy.
Well, that's very opinionated. You're definitely in the minority on that.
Please. Please show me one thing that fucking failed abortion has put out that was not awful. Besides his underwear
1,
sliding
Mission
movie.
Impossible 3, Mission Impossible 4, Mission
Oblivion.
Impossible 5.
Please. Mission Impossible, really?
I wouldn't count Oblivion.
You're counting that
Legend,
as a good movie?
I am going to count Footloose. What was
Legend
that one?
Tomorrow.
Risky Business.
Risky Business was one. Good. Congrats.
You could name his entire. Just because you don't like the movies,
I think he's an
in,
awful actor.
They are successful. He's not as bad as people. I don't think he's Oscar winning. I'm not going to go that far.
My problem is if he doesn't play Tom Cruise, he's awful. Okay, I take it back. There was one where he was fucking phenomenal, and that was that Tropic Thunder, I believe it's called.
Well, yeah, but that's why he's decent, because he plays Tom Cruise.
I was about to say that's the one time he didn't truly play himself. I'm not saying in Tropic Thunder. I'm saying the reason he's successful in all his movies is because he's playing to his strength, which is Tom Cruise. True.
I want to see a Tom Cruise movie where he's portrayed as his actual height compared to other people.
God damn it. I was about to say then, so in a way, what you're saying, the reason Tom Cruise is successful is the same reason Bill Murray is successful in his movies, because he plays himself.
Yeah. And sometimes there are 3 reasons you become successful in Hollywood. 1, you know people. 2, you're pretty. Or 3, you can act. Now,
so Twitch?
Whether or not you have one of those or all 3 of them is how successful you get. Now, whether or not you can act is kind of weird, because if you are playing to your strengths, case in point, Harrison Ford always played to his strength. You know, he plays kind of the same dude in most of his movies. Bruce Willis.
Yeah, I was just about to point out Bruce Willis, man.
Pretty much plays the same dude, but he does it well, and that's what Tom Cruise does. He plays to his strength.
I'll give you that. Okay, congrats. I still think he's a fucking awful actor, but I'll definitely agree with you that he totally plays to his strengths himself. I swear to God, this man gets up in the morning, looks in the mirror, and goes, "I'm the greatest thing on earth. I'm going to go out and play myself."
Unfortunately, most of the popular vote agrees with him, so it's, you know.
Okay. We're not going to get into my opinions of humans. So, I can't help it, man. I'm terrible when it comes to that, man. But, okay. Star Wars is coming up. We need to talk about that trailer, too.
Star Wars is always coming up every year.
Oh, yes.
Pretty goddamn much.
Until the end of time.
Well, it seems like it.
And beyond.
There was the debate with Carrie Fisher that she wasn't going to be in it. She was going to be in it. She was going to be CGI. Okay, for sure, not going to be CGI. We're going to use old footage. Okay, we're not going to use old footage. Now it's confirmed they are going to be using old footage of Carrie. Opinions. Do you think it's right?
Yes.
Why?
Well, I don't know. I just mean,
because
why not?
Me personally, I have the point of view of people are dead. Who gives a shit? They're not going to care. They're dead. They're not going to like sit there on the grave going, "What the fuck are they doing to me here?" No, they don't care. You know, so it's not like Carrie's going to be upset that they're using old footage of her.
Yeah, I mean,
do you think it's disrespectful to the family though?
Well, I mean, to me, using just using old footage in a movie it's like, I mean, you're still going to show the old movies after she's dead. So what's the problem with using old footage?
Absolutely. Okay.
I think it comes down to how it's used more than anything else. Like, for example, we know they've already filmed stuff for episode 8.
Yep.
Like, she has been in interviews saying, yeah, I've already done all the filming for episode 8. So aside from what do they call that, post-production stuff where they go back and reshoots,
Yeah.
aside from potential reshoots, they probably had everything they needed from her.
Yeah.
If you already have it and it's not going to be like, well, we have 10% of her footage, we're going to CG the rest of it.
Yeah.
Then it gets weird.
Yeah.
So using old footage, yeah, I agree. I think you use the old footage as long as it fits.
Okay.
But what I don't agree with, and we sort of talked about Rogue One a little bit, she was CGI'd in Rogue One. She was CGI'd as younger in Rogue One. Keep in mind she was still alive when they did it, so there's a little bit of that, well, I mean, she had to have okayed it, right? But another actor was also CGI'd into that movie.
Yes.
Which one?
And that was creepy as fuck because he was dead for many years. It was the actor that played Admiral Tarkin.
Really?
If you're a Star Wars nerd, you know exactly who I'm talking about.
Yeah.
He's the skeleton-looking dude that was talking to Darth Vader in the original Star Wars.
Peter Cushing, I think.
Yeah, that's it. Peter Cushing. And he wasn't just given like a face. Like in episode 3, you saw his face. Like they did CGI with him again in that one. I think it was a mixture of CGI and an actor that kind of looked like him. But all you saw was his face. And essentially it was like, okay, we know he's there. It's kind of a cameo. But in Rogue One, he had lines.
Yeah, he was a full-on character, though.
And it wasn't just a couple lines. I mean, he was in a couple scenes. So that's when it starts to get weird. And if they do that with Carrie Fisher, which they've said they aren't going to, but
it's Hollywood. Do you really trust them?
Exactly. It's Hollywood.
I mean, could you imagine if that became commonplace and in the future we just saw movies where all the actors were dead?
Right.
Well,
fucking freaky.
That'd be weird. Ugh. Bad.
I would not be a fan of that at all. Like I said, I have zero emotions either way on this one. That's why I brought it up as the discussion piece I did is what's your opinion of it and why? I really don't give a shit. I don't like the thought of CGing her in. I think that's cheesy as all shit and really ripping off the audience.
Well, it's also.
I just had a funny thought that would be a really weird way if they ever in the future remade The Sixth Sense. With
of all movies, The Sixth Sense.
Well,
because I could see dead people.
Yeah.
God damn it, Robbie.
Oh, my dear Lord. The worst part is I didn't get that until you just said that. I feel bad for myself and for the joke.
Oh, casual, man. Are you
For my
serious?
sanity, I'm staying out of it.
So we know. So part of the problem with the whole Carrie Fisher issue is that there was a lot of misinformation, and probably still has been. It's been ever since her death. They've been discussing and talking about it. And one of the things that has come out, there was talk about her being in episode 9, which apparently part of that talk was we're going to CG her, we're going to use old footage, blah, blah, blah. That talk has been supposedly squashed by the direct filmmakers. What happened was her brother, I think, somebody related to her, said that they were planning to put her in episode 9. And the filmmakers, whether it was true or not, the filmmakers got that lashback from the general populace, and they came out and said no. Carrie Fisher is not in episode 9 at all, and they are doing rewrites to the script right now to, she's not going to be seen.
Okay.
So I think here's the thing. Whether you think it's creepy or not, I think Hollywood generally does look at some of the things they do and go, maybe we shouldn't have done that. And they kind of self-correct.
Yet they're getting ready to make a Harley Quinn movie. You know,
That is.
Are you
that is
sure?
That is until some new people come in and say, why don't we do this instead? Well, keep in mind, Harley Quinn was the most popular thing this side of Will Smith in that movie, so of course they're going to make a Harley Quinn movie.
But they gave the 16-year-old boners and made them buy tickets. Make this fucking movie! You know, you're right. You're absolutely right about that. Okay. We all know how obsessed we all were with Deadpool. Deadpool 2 is on the fucking block. It's coming out. We know this. And it had its release date, which is...
was next year?
Yeah, it's going to be January 1st, 2018. Excuse me, June.
Yeah,
June. I'm sorry, June. June 1st, 2018.
Right.
We know now who Cable is.
Yes.
Yes.
Josh Brolin. Brolin. Excuse me. I'm sorry, Brolin. Borland. Apparently, it's now the guitarist from Limp Bizkit.
Or it's Tool time.
Oh, Jesus. But Josh Brolin. Thoughts? Oh, no. Don't do this to me. Thoughts, guys. Thoughts. I need your thoughts. I have a lot of them.
Okay. I was already on my way out of comics by the time Cable was becoming super popular.
Okay.
The whole storyline involving him and what was the Robbie? You probably know this. What was the virus that they were? Oh
God, what the fuck was it? The Legacy virus.
That's it, Legacy virus. So he's a part of that whole thing. So when it comes to who should play Cable, honestly, I just generally have to look at the look that he had in the comics, which was kind of a big, beefy dude, older, scarred, and with a metal arm.
Yep, we're talking like 90s beefy as well.
Yeah, and if you've seen Josh Brolin, he's not that beefy.
Yeah.
But he's also not that. And for those that don't know who Josh Brolin is, first of all, hand in your nerd cred card because he is Thanos.
I was about to say, here's mine. I had no idea who it was until I searched him up.
I'm trying to picture him white hair.
If you're a film nerd, he's been in a bunch of movies that he's actually a really good actor. He was in... let me make sure I'm not messing this up because there's.
I'll get you started with Men in Black 3.
Yeah, he was in Men in Black 3, which, by the way, his young
Tommy Lee Jones
was brilliant. I mean, he was not only playing the character, but he was also playing Tommy Lee Jones, and he just nailed it. He was also in No Country for Old Men. If you haven't seen that, oh my God, that is such a good movie. He was in Sicario. I mean, he is not just like this is a guy who he is a good actor. So when you tell me he's going to be in a project, okay, like just I don't care what the project is. Okay, he's a good actor. But when you tell me he's going to be Cable, I don't know.
Facially, he's perfect. I think he's got the face as long as they do the makeup correctly and they get him.
Oh,
obviously,
I'm sure they will.
But he's got the perfect face for it. But muscle? I mean, can this guy really bulk up that much?
He might be able to.
Or are they going to pull fucking...
The reason I say that is he was in a movie called Old Boy, which was a remake of a Chinese movie or a Japanese movie. terrible movie. The one he was in, the original, really good.
Okay.
But Josh Brolin,
I need to hear his. I need to hear his voice because I haven't listened to Josh Brolin that much, so I need to hear his voice so I can picture him say something like, "Damn it, Wade."
Oh yeah.
Okay, so here's what I want to see out of it. Like, some people are like Cable, some people are saying Josh Brolin. Here's what I think could really work. We already know Ryan Reynolds is like, he's got the snark. He is Deadpool.
Yep.
What I want to see is Cable essentially be the Colossus part. The total straight man.
Yeah.
No jokes. No, just like, what the hell are you doing? You know, just why am I teamed up with you, or whatever they're going to do? And I hope it's not
with this guy.
Yeah.
I think Colossus was pretty much just the fill-in for Cable in that part.
Which, you know, like I said, it could work.
I'm hopeful. I'm really, really hopeful. I'm setting myself up for probable disaster here, because normally I always expect pure disappointment and then get pleasantly surprised. But this is the one time I'm going, you know what, guys? I trust you. Do it. Impress me. And I'm probably setting myself up for disaster, but I think this is going to work as long as he allows himself to become the role. And he doesn't do what so many actors do and like, oh, I'll make the role. No. You become the fucking role. Fuck you. You pull the, what's the big, I got a big old jar of sand guy. Amazing
Johnny
actor. Johnny Depp. As long as you do with the Johnny Depp and become the character, I think Josh could kick some serious ass.
Meanwhile, as casual as having conniptions.
Are you telling me you don't think Johnny Depp is amazing?
No, he's not anymore. The
What?
example is no longer valid. I would say a better example would be like Daniel Day-Lewis.
Not sure who that is. I'm sorry.
He's kind of an Oscar-y type guy. So plus you don't watch movies, so
Like I know
he was in a movie called There Will Be Blood. He was in Gangs of New York.
Gangs of New York.
in
Lincoln.
Yeah, Lincoln. He's the better example. That's all I'm saying. But Johnny Depp, no, he's kind of gone off the deep end. He's played too many pale weirdos to have any cred anymore.
But the one thing
For
go ahead.
For the longest time, because of the characters that Johnny Depp played, I had no idea what he looked like.
And that's what I thought was amazing about Depp, is the fact that he became each one of those characters. And that's what I liked, is that he would put the time in to make sure he knew exactly who it was he was trying to create. So he wouldn't pull what the hell's his name? Tom Cruise. He wouldn't pull any of those characters and any of those guys and just play himself. He would become that character. And that's kind of what I was trying to reference, is that as long as Josh becomes Cable, he'll be set. And he doesn't just go, well, I'll be Josh in this movie. No.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I think he can. I think he's one of those actors who adapts to the role and makes it his own. So
I mean, he seems to have done that for Thanos so far.
Well, can we really say that? He's only sat in a chair.
I mean, he's had a few lines.
If you are ever concerned about a left field casting choice, I know how you feel about this, Stacey, so we can just move past that. Heath Ledger as the Joker. When I heard that, I was like, I am really not sure about that. And then he hit it out of the park, for me at least.
Well,
So,
like I've said, he played the character
now
very
on,
well, but that's a different discussion.
Yeah. So pretty much over here, left field casting, I say, okay, I am more willing to give it a chance.
He definitely knocked the role out of the park. Absolutely. Absolutely, he did. And he didn't have gay cowboy sex. So, I mean, that's obviously a plus when you're trying to play a character like a Joker. Remember, actually, when I first heard, I was like, well, who's Heath Ledger? What else has he done? Oh, he did Brokeback Mountain. The gay cowboy sex movie? What?
I'm just imagining Batman like, I wish I knew how to quit you.
You thought exactly what I thought. Just, oh God, because all I could think of was South Park. And next thing you know, Joker and Batman are sharing pudding and having gay cowboy sex.
And the Joker-Batman storyline comes to its ultimate conclusion.
Just Batman and Joker spooning.
Oh! Now I understand why Batman knocked out Joker's teeth.
Oh
Yes.
my god.
Yeah.
So that's how he got those scars.
Oh wow.
Oh! And I thought I went too far.
Have you ever seen the dong on Batman?
You want to dance with the devil in the pale of the moonlight? Meanwhile, back at the podcast.
So now our next question is, how can we save this in transition?
I'm
We
not
can.
sure we can.
Well, okay. Speaking of rocks, so apparently
Brad.
I'm trying here. I don't have much material to work with. So,
Well, the material you have to work with is 2 dick jokes and a bunch of lewd comments.
I believe he was mentioning a rock.
yes, I was. So mentioning A-Rock, what about The Rock?
Have you seen
he's a
Batman
big
when he
star.
gets
Has
aroused
he
in
ever-
his suit? It looks like a rock
And
in that
Stacey's-
crotch. I'm gone. Bye.
Stacy, you're fired. So anyways, The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, he's a big star. You know, he's essentially made the jump from wrestling to acting. But he is in a comic book movie. But what would you guys like to see him in before I reveal what movie he is actually attached to?
I can't think of a single Rock movie I ever enjoyed. Honestly, I don't think I get bored by his performances because once again he just plays himself.
I thought
Which-
The Rock was good in Moana. Then again,
I was going to say that is the most
Yeah.
Rocky Rock. Like that is the most Dwayne Johnson role he could have possibly done, and he nailed it out of the park. I mean, that he made that movie. I don't care what people say about how great the female character was. Let's face it, I can't even remember her name.
Enough said.
But as Maui, he was just The Rock, and he was good. But I don't know what.
I find it funny how a lot of people were shocked that he could sing.
Wait, that was actually him?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, if you watch wrestling, you know The Rock can fucking sing, man.
And
I don't watch wrestling. Yeah, I haven't watched that in
There's
years.
jokes about how bad he is, like the Honest Trailers did a joke about, and they kind of made fun of it. But he's not conventionally good. I mean, he's not going to be singing opera at the at the Met or whatever.
Yeah.
But he's not bad, But as a comic book guy, I mean, you obviously default to like big bulky dudes, but we've already got that covered with the Hulk and Thor and everything. So
I'm
Maybe
trying to
Hercules, like the Marvel Comics Hercules, not the Hercules he
Yeah,
already played.
think. Maybe.
does anybody know who Wonder Man is?
Yes, I do.
Nope.
No.
Okay, so a tiny bit of background, only because I'm not very well versed in it either, is that Wonder Man is a super strong dude. Like his power is super strength. But he's a huge egotist, and he's basically like turned, instead of going out and saving the world, he does movies and he shows off and he's like a rock star.
So you're talking about the Rock, just comic book version of him.
I
Like, this
mean,
is a perfect role for him.
If they were to make a Wonder Man, I'm just saying.
Who can we talk to get this made now? Because we have found The Rock's perfect fucking role. Really, I kind of want to watch. I want to not watch. I really want to read this comic book now. How many times have I said that line on this podcast alone? Holy shit! Not just this, but the podcast. Holy shit! That. Can we get this made? I'm serious. I'm being dead serious. Can we get this fucking movie made?
Well, the thing is, Wonder Man isn't ever like a main character. I don't think he doesn't.
Okay.
He's like one of those side characters, you know.
Yeah.
He co-stars, but I don't know if they could do that with The Rock.
Once again, perfect role, the egotist. You can't let something be pushed aside. Like, I'm not the main fucking character. Are you fucking kidding me right now?
Ooh, that could get meta.
Right, dude? Imagine it could be it could be satire upon The Rock himself as the character, and it could be almost kind of like I remember hearing a joke about how it would have been hilarious to, instead of having the new Ghostbusters, the female Ghostbusters, or Ghostbusters 2000, whatever, instead of having that made, have a Ghostbusters made where it shows I can't remember Egon's real name. I feel like a douche. Why am I forgetting his name? He's a fucking awesome actor. And writer. Well, either way, the real guy, Egon himself, chasing down Bill Murray, trying to get him to read the script and do the role. That would have been fucking hilarious. You know,
Harold Ramis.
Harold, thank you so much. I think Harold trying to chase down Bill, and trying to get this movie made and everything, just make that the movie and just have it be pure satire upon real life of what was happening. I think it would have been hilarious. Now this would be awesome because it'd be The Rock going, wait, I'm not the main, kind of if you want to write into it, make the fourth wall break kind of thing of all of a sudden he kind of stops and goes, wait, I'm not the main character in this fucking movie? You know, I mean, obviously, I'm sure it's not part of his character in the comic book, but you catch what I'm trying to say here. You know, I think it'd be hilarious.
That's more of a Deadpool thing.
Oh, absolutely, but I'm just kind of trying to play off the thought of what that character is of being, you know, incredibly egotistic, stuff like that, you know. Instead of saving the world, he's out making movies. That thought and that kind of, you know, pursuit of the character, I think would be hilarious. And it falls on dry ears. All right, good job, Stacey. All right. No, nobody.
Well, like I said, I mean, it could. It just Wonder Man's not like a box office draw, so.
I mean,
neither was Ant-Man, but
I would say, would you ever looked at? Oh God, what the hell was that movie? Why am I drawing a blank on it? We discussed it, how the comic book and the movie were totally different.
that's a lot of them.
True.
League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
Not Extraordinary Gentlemen.
Watchmen.
Watchmen. Thank you, Watchmen. God damn it, Stacey. I would have never thought of Watchmen making it on the big screen ever. I just never would have thought of that being a movie. So I think it could work, personally.
Well, yeah, but Watchmen was a beloved property. Wonder Man.
True, very true. You're absolutely right.
Somebody nobody knows.
Speaking of your Wonder Man ideas, they actually kind of did that in the early 90s, called Last Action Hero.
Yes!
Oh, I love that movie growing up.
I loved it growing up, but now I watch it, I'm going, what the hell were they doing?
That was such a weird movie. Like part of me wants to just fully embrace the stupidity of it, but another part of me remembers the fart bomb.
Oh, God, I love that so much. It was just so dumb. You see, this is exactly, it's causing us to grow nowadays because we remember how funny it was to us back then, and now we're going, we laughed at that shit.
You know what could be great, though? And this is definitely a Hollywood thing to do, especially now. Last Action Hero 2. Arnold Schwarzenegger, in his old age, playing a role. He's way just a ridiculous role. Get Stallone in there to be like the villain. I don't know, but just I don't even care what the story is. I would go watch Last Action Hero 2.
So, The Expendables.
No, because The Expendables was a movie that had a plot.
Right, if you say so.
I didn't say the plot was good. I just said it had a plot.
They were watching part of it because I didn't really want to spend the money on it, so I just watched some of it on YouTube, and I was like, this is not a good movie. I think I watched about 20 minutes total, and I was like, I don't want to spend money on this. I don't want to even look at them and say, here's $5. I don't want to give you anything for this piece of shit.
The Expendables was the last ride of the 1980s.
You know, that's a funny thing, though.
Yeah.
I should have loved
That was
it.
the point.
I should have, because I love those type of movies. I still do to this day. I love that. I thought those were so good, but, you know, it's kind of the same reason why I love Duke Nukem, the new game that they put out. I thought it was fucking phenomenal because I love that style, but it fell flat.
And yet, you can't seem to find the fun in the Fast and Furious franchise.
Zoom, me go fast. Oh, I'm a lawbreaker. Fuck that goddamn piece of shit. I can't think of anything fun and enjoyable in it. Plus, is Ludacris the rapper, or is he not, or what is this? I mean, I need to know. He was in the first movie rapping and Move, Bitch, I think is a song name, or just Bitch, or Move, or
I
Get
don't
Out of the
know.
Way, or
They've had rappers
bitch,
in
get out
pretty
of the
much
way.
all of them.
yeah. And then next movie, there he is. Well, is he rapping still, or is he not? What the hell is going on with this universe? I'm confused.
Okay, so first, let me lay down the reason the Fast and Furious franchise even exists. You can argue the rock,
Drugs?
and we'll get there. Okay, so the first movie, let me tell you, the first movie was basically Point Break with cars. Like, if you've ever seen the movie Point Break with Keanu Reeves, whoa. And that is him at his second most woeiest too. The first most is obviously Bill and Ted.
Woeiest. I love you so much right now for that.
The fact is, Point Break is a beloved movie amongst those action aficionados. Mm-hmm. And somebody decided, hey, what if we just did this but with cars? So the first Fast and Furious movie was created. It made just over $200 million. Enough in 97 or 96, whenever the first Fast and Furious came out, but not huge money. There were really no plans to make a sequel. But then something happened, and that is people that were stupid started replicating one of the stunts.
The underneath the trailer bullshit?
Uh-huh.
I remember hearing about that, yeah.
Universal got all kinds of shit about that because, you released this movie and now it's causing... And of course, it was just a super minority of idiots that were doing it. But the media latched onto it. Universal got a bunch of crap. So they made Fast and Furious 2. And the reason they made it was not to make money. It was to basically do a PSA on how bad it is to do these races, and part of how they did that is they had a semi run over a Mustang in one of the scenes, and that dude was totally dead. I mean, there's no way he's recovering from that.
Do you really need to explain to people why this is dangerous? I mean, how fucking idiotic is the world as just a population where we have to go, did you know this is a bad idea?
It's the same reason they put caution, coffee is hot on McDonald's cups.
Because the dumb cunt. Yeah, you know what? Yeah.
So
never underestimate the stupidity of humanity.
Yeah.
So obviously the problem with the Fast and Furious 2, or Too Fast, Too Furious as it was called, was that nobody wanted to come back. The only one that wanted to come back was Paul Walker because, well, let's face it, he needed a paycheck. So again, there weren't really any plans to do much more with the franchise, but it made $236 million. That was a little bit more than the previous movie. And how often does a sequel make more when it's already not really a popular franchise?
True. Very true.
So they decided that, okay, we're going to make a third movie. But it wasn't just that, it was also PSA Part 2. Why? Because they kind of glorified the street racing stuff in the second movie. So
kind of? That's like saying AIDS is only a little bit worse than HIV. Jesus Christ, man.
So for PSA Part 2, they showed right at the beginning, they had the, what do they call that? The stunts are done by professionals, don't try this at home kind of baloney. Then they also had the very first scene in the movie, 2 cars get completely wrecked, the people driving them get injured. That was essentially PSA Part 2.
Yeah.
The movie only made $158 million. Nobody wanted to see it. None of the principals came back, except one. Vin Diesel came back for a cameo at the end because obviously somebody dumped money on his front doorstep.
Please come to our movie here.
Now, obviously, when the grosses drop by that much, there's no plans to make another one. Why would we? Nobody wants to see these. But fan reaction to seeing Vin Diesel back was so high that Universal concocted the most ridiculous story for Fast 4, which was this soap opera story. It had a character dying at the beginning. What?
And doesn't Universal just concoct random stories anyway?
Well, I mean, for a movie, generally, you don't get a soap opera coming out of it. You get some action, you get some self-containedness, but with 4, they started a movie soap opera. And what you got was $363 million. The grosses went up. And every movie since, they have continued to go up. Fast 5 made $600 million. Fast 6 over $700. Fast 7 $1.5 billion. And Fast 8's opening weekend $500 million in 3 days, because Friday's considered part of the weekend.
Yeah,
and I would say part of that success is the chemistry that The Rock actually had on set.
I would agree with that. Now, here's, in my opinion, and I'm not trying to change your opinion that these movies suck, Stacey, because here's the thing. I agree. They do suck. But they're so bad, they're good.
So Sharknado is what you're saying.
No, Sharknado is like the next level of so bad. Like, that's the movie you're making fun of just because it's bad. These movies are exactly what you wanted from the Expendables at this point. They are 80s action movies. They're ridiculous, they're over the top, and they don't care. Fast 1, we've already said, was Point Break with cars.
Yeah.
It was a classic cops and robbers story. Fast 2 was a buddy cop movie.
To me, Fast 1 was the only tolerable one of the whole thing.
Well, it's also considered the only truly good one because it does have just kind of a basic cops and robbers story, and they stick to that. Fast 3 was a young adult teen drama story. You can see why it was the worst one. Fast 4 was a revenge tale. Fast 5 was a heist. Fast 6 was kind of a comic book team versus team movie. Like, literally, it's actually lampshaded in the movie when one of the characters says, hey, that's just you with the big muscles, and that's just you, the brain, and there's me, the smart guy, you know, whatever. Fast 7 was Mission Impossible, and Fast 8 was James Bond. This is the unique thing about the franchise that you're not getting because you're not watching it, and you don't have to. Each movie takes a different genre or a different concept of a movie and puts Vin Diesel and cars in it. It shouldn't work, and yet it does.
Maybe it's just the fact that I don't have a love affair with cars, and I never have. I've just never really been that guy. Sure, I do love, I love my F-150s and stuff like that. I've always enjoyed a big vehicle, but I've never been a car guy. So instantly, as soon as I hear, well, it's a car movie, fuck that. I find no interest in it immediately because of it. Yeah, I mean, so I think that's the main thing that always drove me away from these movies, especially after seeing the first one. I was like, okay, so we go fast. Okay, so we downshift one more, just go a little bit faster. Okay.
Now,
And then, look, the bad guy got away because the cop lost his cool. Oh boy, again, just like every other fucking movie.
It's not just shift; it's clutch, shift, accelerate.
Clutch, shift, accelerate.
Why
NOS.
weren't you already in that top gear, motherfucker? If you were trying to go fast and trying to get away, god damn it!
That's actually some of the jokes about it. That every car has like a 28-speed transmission. And there's pictures of every little thing on the shift knob is go faster.
And that's the beauty of the franchise. Now, some people say that the franchise was going downhill and The Rock saved it, but the numbers don't lie. It wasn't The Rock that saved it. It was turning it into the soap opera it's become. And it's literally a soap opera. Like, it has all the hallmarks of being a soap opera. It has amnesia. It has characters being dead and coming back to life, in some stupid, silly way. It has people having kids and not knowing who they are. It has it does all those things that are so cliched in soap operas, and it doesn't care.
It's all about family.
Yes, it's all about family.
All about family. I don't know, man.
If you can turn off your brain and just enjoy 80s action, they're just the most glorious fluff. It's cotton candy in your mouth.
You're kind of having a head tilt to Tron again.
In what way? I'm not following.
Turning off your brain and enjoying an 80s movie.
Well, Tron was a different kind of turning off your brain, but yes. And there are just some movies that you do have to do that. Some will argue you shouldn't have to turn off your brain to enjoy a movie, but some movies are made for turning off your brain and just watching the colors on the screen.
Just get your popcorn, sit down, and just let it happen.
I think that's probably the biggest problem I have, because as I point out earlier, actually during the pre-show, is only movies I actually usually almost always watch is documentaries. Hence why I love The Matrix so much, because it got the same feel, because you felt like you were learning something. Sure, it was fucking fantasy, it's fucking bullshit, but you felt like you were actually learning something. You know what I mean? You had that feel of it. So that's why once I hear, well, just shut off your brain and enjoy, yeah. You know what I mean? Like, shutting off my brain's like one of the things I don't want to do with my life, like fucking ever. You know what I mean? So it's like, yeah, no thanks. I don't know, man.
Well, all I can say is, no matter what your opinion is, we're getting at least 2 more of these, probably more than that.
And like I've said, I'm happily not giving my money to these people. Just happily, just going, oh, good, you're not going to have my money, thanks. You go and put that out all you want. I'm going to be over here masturbating to hentai. No, I mean,
but
I forgot, I'm not Robbie. I'm sorry, Robbie. I took your role. I apologize.
I do want to point out one factor to these movies that you have kind of glossed over in previous discussions, and that is we talked about Carrie Fisher.
Yes.
And how they used her or are going to use her. They, in the 7th movie, which was the movie that Paul Walker died after the filming of, they did, for a franchise like this, you wouldn't expect them to be able to do a fitting memorial to Paul Walker. But they did a memorial that made me cry. I'm talking legit cry. It wasn't just the song. I mean, oh my God, the songs at the end are all related to, being a memorial of Paul Walker. But the entire ending of Fast 7 was like 10 minutes of a memorial to Paul Walker and the character he played in that movie. And it's all done in universe. Like, it's all done from the character's perspectives to Brian, the character that Paul Walker played. And it's done so beautifully that by the end, if you don't have tears in your eyes, you're just a heart of stone. So that's all I'll say about that. They did it right.
I agree.
Oh, okay, I get that. I don't know. Maybe it's... people also think I'm an asshole because of my view on death, so I guess I'd be a terrible person to talk to about a scene like that. I don't know, like I said, maybe it's just the fact that I never got into the movies. I've never been a car guy. I've never enjoyed this type of stuff, so I'm the terrible person to talk about this subject. I'll admit that any day. But it's just meh. Overwhelming meh when it comes to stuff like this. You know what I mean? Like, oh, you're going to go fast and zoom and run from the cops. Okay, I'll go watch something else. Yeah, I mean, but there we go.
So, since you say Paul Walker, that whole tribute thing was done right.
Mm-hmm.
How about something that most feel was not done right? The NES Classic.
Is that the emulator, the little mini?
Yeah,
NES?
Yeah.
Those have jumped up in price now.
Where
I work,
because they've been discontinued.
Yeah, where I worked, they were like 90 quid, and now they're like 190.
What? It has like 30
shit.
old NES games on it.
It's because Nintendo discontinued it. Nothing more, nothing less. They
want to make a classic for the SNES now.
Yeah, I like the thought of the SNES. I thought about buying the Nintendo one, then I realized I owned almost all the games that are on there already for my regular Nintendo anyway, so what's the fucking point? Yeah, I mean...
Right, it's got The Legend of Zelda 2 and Super Mario 1 or something?
Of all Legends of Zelda to have, they had Legend of Zelda fucking 2, the shitbag of them all. Yeah, I mean... I don't know.
Would you like to know the purpose of the NES Classic? No, at least the purpose that I subscribe to.
I was about to say the money, yeah.
I would say the purpose of the NES Classic was to drum up support for the Nintendo Switch. Because if you think about it, the NES Classic, the little small one, it's a single point of sale. So you pay $60 when it was out. You pay $60 to Nintendo, and that is all they will ever get from you for that system. There's no games to sell for it, none of that stuff. Unlike a regular console like the Nintendo Switch, you buy the console, you buy the games, you buy like another controller or something like that. There's more money to be made after the initial purchase. NES Classic was just supposed to be, here's a little thing, drop support. We'll do it for a while, and it's really cheap to put together. People eat it up, and that's that.
So the NES Classic was pretty much just a one-off from the beginning.
Yes, so that's why it has no online functionality to it. Because obviously, as we know, Nintendo could make a killing setting up a virtual console on that Switch. Where you buy on the NES Classic to buy NES games.
Mm-hmm.
But that would take away from the virtual console on the Switch, where you can also buy NES games and N64 games and other games like that. So, in my view, the NES Classic was just a one-off from the very beginning. The demand took off. It was like, that's nice, but the point is to get people to buy the Switch.
Oh, that's nice.
I see where your logic is going with that, and I mean, I guess that's one way to go about business, but when I saw the Classic, I was like, okay, here's a system with a bunch of games on it, most of which I couldn't care less about. So how much per game are you paying? Now, what it retailed for, like, what, $60 or something in America?
I think
$60 US.
Okay. 30 games, if I remember correctly. That's $2 a game, right? Now that sounds like a great deal. $2 a game, a bunch of quote classics that everybody loves. But how many of those games did any of us really want to play? Like, I looked at the list and I saw 2, maybe 3.
I'm trying to think of any of them. Here, let me get the full list. Hold on.
Let me rephrase. Games that I would play, not that I want to play. Right? Like, I saw at least one or two of the Super Marios. I think I remember Legend of Zelda 2 being on there. I don't recall Legend of Zelda 1 being on there, but I looked at most of that list and I said, okay, so let's be generous and say there were 5 games that I might have wanted to play. That's still, at $60, that's, too expensive for an old NES game.
Exactly. They had Excited Bike, which was an awesome fucking game, but I already own it. Final Fantasy, awesome game, already own it. Super Mario Bros., awesome game, already own it. I think this is where they kind of,
And that's the thing, too. The Final Fantasy on that is not the Final Fantasy most people remember. Mm-hmm. Most people remember the remake on Game Boy and stuff like that. That was where they tweaked things and they made it better. Yep. The original Final Fantasy, if you play that now, you'll be like, I hate this thing!
It's a bit rough to play, to say the least. I love it, but it's a bit rough.
I just have to say about the battle system. You select to attack an enemy. If it dies, you're still going to swing at that area.
That's so fucking dumb.
Can't tell you how many times. Miss. There's nothing there! Switch to another target!
Oh, Stacy's missed several times.
Shut up. But you're absolutely right. That's that goddamn game. Anyway, sorry, I'm getting rage thoughts of playing Final Fantasy backwards. What the hell are you doing? Stop that! Jesus Christ!
It was the 80s. It was a different time.
Well, you're on a point.
I'm on the GameSpot website looking at... I looked up... what the NES, like how many units the NES sold for. Sorry, I'm getting ads at the ass.
Ready, guys? Do.
No, they put a middle. They put an ad in the middle of my screen, and I can't click anything to remove it.
Don't you love modern advertising?
Well, anyway,
you gotta click the ad to remove it.
Yeah, come on, God, get with it already. As you guys could tell, we're the kings, the absolute gods of pre-show prep. Instead of doing pre-show prep, what were you doing, guys? Fart jokes, dick jokes, and talk about shitting in our pants, I think?
So, despite widespread shortages, the NES Classic Edition console has reached 1.5 million sales worldwide.
It has to just be some weird nostalgia thing.
Yeah.
I mean, when I say weird, I mean we all love nostalgia. But here's my thing. The NES Classic is like a toy version of the NES.
Yeah.
The games included were Super Mario Bros., The Legend of Zelda, Mega Man 2, and Castlevania.
I don't like Castlevania.
Really? Castlevania was cool, but you really had to enjoy that style of gaming, Yeah,
I didn't. That one, Metroid, that whole genre, don't like it.
Metroid I was not a fan of. Castlevania was better, in my opinion.
The funny thing is the only game out of any of those that I would have played on the NES Classic would have been Super Mario Bros. That's it.
Right. I probably would have played Legend of Zelda, but
Donkey Kong
for Castlevania, I was supposed to say I love me some Wall.
God damn it. Donkey Kong Jr. though on it, come on, that was a great game, but was it really worth $60?
No.
Enough said. Now, on the point of games, guys, and I know this is one that me and Casual, I think, have similar thoughts on. Friday the 13th. It's coming out. And it's coming out for multiplayer only, of course, first, and then you have to wait a while before you get the single player, because fuck you, single player dweebs like me and Casual who only like single player.
We're in the minority nowadays.
Unfortunately. Thoughts. Friday the fucking 13th, did we really need it? Besides people who are just obsessed with Jason Voorhees.
I'll be the first to say it. Resident Evil 7 knockoff.
No, I would say it's more of a Dead by Daylight knockoff, personally.
That's
the
basically
thing. Just Dead by Daylight with one
It's
monster.
Dead by Daylight with Jason Voorhees, in my opinion.
Right. So here's the underlying problem. Friday the 13th, the game, sounds great. Like, it's banking on the familiarity. Mm-hmm. So from a business standpoint, sure. The idea is apparently similar to Dead by Daylight. From a multiplayer perspective, you play Jason Voorhees, and the other people play victims at Crystal Lake or wherever.
Yeah, Crystal Lake, Higgins, Haven, Pernack, Lodge. I'm probably slaughtering these names. I'm apologizing.
But the problem, Dead by Daylight already came out.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's a good concept, but other games have already done it.
And it's already dying, unfortunately.
And that, ironically, yeah, the monster thing, people played it on Twitch for a while, and it was cool, and then the next thing came out. Do people want to rehash that?
I mean, I've seen a few games, where some people will play the good guys, and someone will play the bad guy, like Evolved. Mm-hmm. And there was a spooky house one that I don't remember the name of. And all of them have they've been played for a little bit and they've died pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Well,
and the current one seems to be Dead by Daylight, so I don't know how much longer that one's going to last.
Well, here's also the thing with Dead by Daylight, with this game coming out. If you really want to play a killer, like a movie killer, you could play Dead by Daylight and just get the fucking Michael Moore. Not Michael. Yeah. Michael Moore. All right, good job, Stacy. Holy shit.
Mike Myers.
Michael Myers. Thank you. Yes, Michael. Fucking
not Mike Myers.
I'd be scared of being chased by Michael Moore.
Well, isn't the killer Michael Myers, right?
Yeah, in the Halloween movies.
Yeah, Michael Myers.
Okay, yeah.
Mike Myers is the funny guy.
Oh yeah.
Oops.
But and that's the thing. They're coming out with this game, you said, multiplayer only first.
Unfortunately.
That literally is Dead by Daylight.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I would not be surprised if the multiplayer fails miserably because they're like, well, we already have Dead by Daylight. They're just not going to do the single player. Which is what I would want to play. And honestly, here's the thing. When it comes to a game like this, who are you going to want to play in a Friday the 13th movie? Are you going to want to play the camp counselor that's running away? Or are you going to want to play Jason fucking Voorhees, the whole point of the goddamn game and movie?
Yeah.
Exactly. I want to play Jason Voorhees.
So you're going to have lines, you're going to have cues up the asshole to play the killer, Jason. And people are like, it's going to be a quick cue, no problem to get in to play one of the camp counselors,
Yeah,
what if they made a competitive mode where one of you plays Jason, the other one plays Freddy?
Now, if they did that, that would be cool, but they're not going to.
I would love to play Freddy, dude.
Play Predator.
Wait, what?
You have it as a free-for-all. Freddy, Jason, Predator, maybe Alien.
Oh, I would play the shit out of that. Because once again, it's all about the killers then,
Kind of have a Mortal Kombat setup.
Yeah, and Chucky would be another one.
I wouldn't like the Mortal Kombat setup because that's just a side-by-side beat 'em up. I'd want the hunting, the killing, the actual true hunting aspect. That'd be fun. So you kind of get the whole thought process of Dead by Daylight and Friday the 13th games like this, but with multiple killers, and you guys have to compete. That'd be kind of fun, but of course, it would also take away from the whole concept of this guy's chasing this guy's type of stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the only problem with that particular concept is that Freddy and Jason are owned by Warner Brothers, and
yeah, I know.
What you would call it? The other two
Anything's
are owned
possible.
by Fox.
Yeah. When I was in school,
Maybe.
we had like a dark room, and every time I went to the dark room, I always would hide in the corner and do like the ch sounds.
You were that dickhead school person, huh? Person at school student.
I just thought of the other killer that you want to play. You want to play as Jason Voorhees' mom because she was the killer in the first movie.
I was about to say, are you playing as Jason? Or are you playing as mom? Who are you? Which version are you playing of here in this fucking game here, people?
Could you just imagine like Jason's just like about to stab a cheerleader, then his mother shows up and he's like, "Jason, what the hell are you doing?"
Now,
Mom!
I think the only way that this game could succeed is if they dump some extra money into it after the fact, whether it starts as a success or not, because I think we're all agreed I don't think it's going to be a success. And they give us maps based on the movies. Now, not all of them took place in Camp Crystal Lake.
Yeah.
Some of them went to Manhattan, and that's what I was going to say. They need to do a map of what was it, like a space station or a spaceship where he went into space. They could do the Hell one. They could do like some sort of a special mode where every time you die, you have like a chance to infect somebody else with your Hell nature. If anybody saw that one, it was such a bad movie.
I don't remember that one, no. I was never a Friday the 13th kind of guy. I was always a Nightmare on Elm Street kind of guy. I like the witty kills, not just the pure gore. Yeah, I mean,
Right.
but yeah. So, thoughts? Everybody's kind of expecting this one to fail, or what?
Pretty much.
Yeah, I'm actually looking forward and watching it fail.
Oh, I'm not looking forward to it to fail. I mean, if it's a new type of game that starts and people enjoy it, awesome. I hope it succeeds. I hope it sells a lot. I hope a lot of people enjoy it. I hope it starts a whole new genre of gaming. But I just don't see, well, I guess it's already been started, but I just don't see it working. You know what I mean? I just don't see it working at all.
I don't see it working, but I would love to play a Friday the 13th game that was... What was that game where it was kind of... It was a pixel game, but you had to kill people without getting caught. I don't remember what it was. But,
I think you might be talking about Hotline Miami.
that sounds familiar. But yeah, I'd love to have like a Jason Voorhees game where you do that kind of thing where you have to like sneak into like a party and kill people off.
Here's the thing. They've tried this before multiple times, and I'm not talking like specifically Friday the 13th, but there was a game. It was called. It was by Rockstar way back when. It was during the time when they were being super controversial. And Manhunt. Okay, so Manhunt actually got banned in a bunch of places.
Wait,
I remember that.
It got an adult rating in a few locations, and they eventually released it on Steam. Basically, the premise of this game is kind of like Saw. You are trapped in this horrible place where you have to kill your way through to get out. And throughout the entire game, there's like this voice, disembodied voice talking to you from speakers around the place saying, you better be careful if you want to get out of here. It's kind of like a horrible reality game show where you're killing everyone.
So I went and searched up Manhunt on DuckDuckGo, right? You guys want to know the first thing that popped up? It wasn't the video game, and it wasn't Manhunt, the inside story of the hunt of Bin Laden. No. Manhunt.net. Gay hookups, gay dating, gay sex, and gay video chat. So it's very, very happy hookups, very happy dating, very happy sex, apparently.
That's my kind of Manhunt.
I was about to say, that's exactly what I was going to say, Robbie. Yeah. So if you're a homophobe, don't search up Manhunt on DuckDuckGo. Anyway,
Paging the advertising department.
I'm like the Steve Irwin of Manhunt.
Oh, Jesus. Crikey, look what we got here.
Look at the size of it.
That thing's put at least 30 other men in the hospital.
I'm going to grab it.
And the podcast comes full circle about 45 minutes later.
Oh my God! Oh no!
Oh, he's really angry now.
I think that's probably our cue.
Yup.
I just can't. All right, guys. Thank you very much for tuning in. This has been the Odd Pod. I'm Stacy Kruger. Who the hell are you guys?
I'm undead.
I'm Robbie.
I am Rad.
You hear that? He's like, I don't know if I want to say anything to this. I don't know if I want to identify myself. Who the hell are you, you casual bastard?
This was the fate of the casual.
Manhunt.com. We want sponsorship.
I love each and every one of you guys. Pink actually walked into my studio and is looking at me very confused of what the hell are you guys talking about? I love each and every one of you guys. We're the oddest podcast, the oddest little thing on the internet.
Oh,
the odd
hold on.
pod.
I have a announcement.
What?
We now have a Patreon.
We do. We'll be getting everybody info, like more defined info on it next podcast, and also letting you guys know how you can help us stay on the air and, you know, pay for our bills that keep the podcast out to you guys. We'll just say right now that it's been made, it's out there, it's live, and we will give you all of the fine-tuned information next podcast.
Yep.
Sounds good, guys. Thank you once again, each and every one of you crazy little bastards for watching us, listen to us. Thank you so much for being here. Talk to you guys real soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.